Hello! In this video, we're going to be talking about the basics of Linux and Ubuntu and their similarities and differences with Windows systems. Let's begin. Linux refers to a family of operating systems modeled off of Unix. It's built in a collaborative, open-source environment, which means that anyone can use, modify, or distribute the Linux kernel. A kernel is the core component of an operating system because it manages system resources. Windows operating systems also have kernels, but they are not open source and are not available for modification or distribution like the Linux kernel. Some of the more common flavors built from the Linux kernel are Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, and Fedora. Linux and Windows systems have many differences. Because Linux has an open source environment, some versions of Linux can be downloaded and used for free. Windows operating systems must be purchased and licensed. Linux typically has less malware than Windows systems because a high percentage of organizations use Windows operating systems for their servers and desktops. Attackers developing malware tend to target Windows as it is used by so many organizations. Because most organizations use Windows, some software developers will not take the time to make their products compatible with Linux, leaving Linux systems with fewer commercially supported software packages. While the two systems are very different, they also have some similarities. Both can perform similar tasks using equivalent programs, such as Microsoft Office and LibreOffice. Both are stable and have significant support, and both are subject to very similar vulnerabilities. Linux has several different account types, including system, user, and superuser or administrator. The superuser, which is commonly called root, is similar to Windows administrator account. When a user is attempting to perform actions as the root user, a password is usually required in both the GUI and the command line to ensure the user is authorized to perform those actions. Users can switch between actions carried out as a standard user or root user using commands such as sudo, which we will discuss later. The Ubuntu file system is different than the Windows file system. Ubuntu does not specify on which drive a folder is stored and uses forward slashes to identify root directories. The file system can be accessed by clicking the filing cabinet on your Ubuntu menu bar. Linux software can be easily added or removed. Software is often bundled into packages managed by package managers. In Ubuntu, the package manager is called Ubuntu Software Center and functions similarly to Mac's App Store or the Windows Store. To access Ubuntu Software Center, click the orange shopping bag on your Ubuntu menu bar. From here, users can install, uninstall, or modify software, but must invoke root permissions to do so. Linux users need to be familiar with using the command line, as it is the only option for some tasks in Ubuntu. Some pros of the command line are providing the user with more control, saving time because it requires only a keyboard, using less of the computer's processing power and memory than the GUI, and automated scripting of tasks. Some cons of the command line include being less user-friendly and multitasking limitations. To access the terminal where the command line is used, click the terminal button in the Ubuntu menu bar. When typing commands in the terminal, it is very important to pay attention to capitalization and spaces. Hitting Enter will execute your command, and hitting Ctrl-D will close any commands you have running or exit the terminal. Let's see how the command line works by running our first command. In the open terminal, type cat-n >hello.txt. Now, press Enter to execute the command. Next, type "This is a test, hello." Press Ctrl-D to close your commands. The commands you just entered created a text document. To view this document from the command line, type cat hello.txt. This will show you the file you just created. The sudo command allows an authorized user with root permissions to temporarily elevate their privileges using their own password rather than the password belonging to the built-in root account. This command can be used to perform administrative level tasks if the user is a member of the sudoers group. The sudoers group are authorized to perform administrator tasks, similar to the administrators group in Windows. Adding a user is an example of an administrative task requiring the use of sudo. For example, to add a user named Archimedes, type sudo add user Archimedes at the command line. Now, press enter to execute the command. When prompted, type your password and hit enter. Notice your password will not be visible when typing. Next, type a password and any other credentials you wish to add to the account called Archimedes. Press enter to execute the command. The sudo su command is another way of gaining root level permissions. Su, or switch user, tells the system you wish to switch from your current user identity to a different one. For example, typing sudo su will start a new command shell in your current session with root privileges. Any command you type in this new shell will be run as the root user without having to type sudo before each command. The su command can also be used to switch between other user accounts. In the command line, type sudo su, then press enter. When prompted, type in your password. Here, we have also typed the command clear to clear the previous commands from the screen. Now, to add a user named Remon, you can type add user Remon and press enter without using the sudo command. Type a password and any other credentials you wish to add to that account. Press enter to execute the command. To confirm that these accounts were created, click the gear icon in the Ubuntu menu bar. Next, click the User Accounts button. You should see the new accounts you just created. This concludes the Intro to Linux and Ubuntu tutorial. Thanks for watching!